Welcome back, guys. Here we go. We got the catching. So now with the academy catching, it's all about knowing the situations. You gotta know every single situation. Okay. If you decided to skip, hey, I'm not an infielder, I'm gonna skip this. I'm just a catcher. I'm not an outfielder. I'm gonna skip this and wait another 5 days until catching opens up. You need to go back and review those right now before we even get started. Okay? Because ultimately you need to know every single situation on the field. Okay? You are the field general. You are the leader. You're the most important guy on this field. The defense doesn't shut it down without a good catcher. A catcher that doesn't know the situations, that can't communicate right. Okay? The quiet guys, if you're a quiet guy, when you get on the field, turn it up a notch, man. You gotta turn it up a notch. Okay? When you turn it up just a little bit, you become a little bit of a different person on the field. There's nothing wrong with that. The thing is, off the field, you go back to your normal self. Okay? On the field, you're that ultimate communicator. Okay? You live and die by a good catcher. Okay? You gotta be able to communicate and know everything. So if you don't know the situations, you need to go back, because I gave a lot of situations on what everybody should be doing. You should be knowing what the pitchers should be doing. You should be knowing what the catchers, you are the catcher, what the infielders should be doing in the situations, the outfielders. Okay? Things that you need to be communicating. And yes, you're going to see, I preach it, have a note card. Have a note card. I know you're going to see it backwards right now, but have this note card as your reminder. Okay? So, things that you need to communicate. You need to be able to communicate the bunt coverage. So if a bunt is potentially on, you need to know when a potential bunt is on. You need to know which play to call in order to execute, in order to hold the play to a minimum. Okay? So if you got a guy on first and he's sack bunting and he bunts it down the first baseline, you need to know, he's probably going to be bunting it down first base side with a runner on first, so we need to call this play. Okay? You need to know first and thirds. It doesn't matter what your calls are. Okay? It could be helmet, mask, chest, thighs, wrist, whatever it may be. Also, that helps your defense. Maybe they might get lackadaisical, maybe forget. Just to constantly remind them, hey, we got a first and third. We got to make sure we're all prepared. Okay? So, what I used to like to do was, bunt coverages were numbers, first and thirds were colors. Okay, so we were always black and orange. I got the black and gold now. But the teams that I've been on, we were mostly the black and orange. So we used black, orange, white. Black was through. Okay, so you gotta let the throw through. Get the runner at second. Orange was the cut play. Okay, where the second baseman comes across, cuts it. And then white was the back pick, throw down to third. Or you pump fake it. And then you gotta know the outs, you gotta know the counts, you gotta know the runners, whether they're slow, whether they're average, whether they're fast. Okay? You are also in the greatest position on the field because you're the only one that faces the field, faces everybody. Okay? Everybody else is turned looking in toward you. Okay? You're able to see everything. Alright? So when somebody goes to steal, you see the guy going. Okay? And you gotta make sure too. Okay, make sure the middle infield knows who's covering the base on a steal. Okay? You may not think that, you may not be at that point where everyone's just on the same page, the coach preaches it. That's a great situation. But if you're not, you need to make sure that your middle infield knows who's covering the base. Okay, because I've seen too many times where, you know, second base wasn't going and backing up, and shortstop covering. They may be 15 feet in front of the base, or both go onto the base. Yeah, I mean, it's a mess. So you need to be able to communicate that, like, hey, you know, you can give like a nonverbal, like that's the next one. It's a nonverbal if you want to play like on a pick play. You see the base runner doing something funky and you feel like you can throw him out, and you do it. Okay. And then so you got the pick play, like third base, first base. If you see them doing something funky and you feel like you can get an out, like an easy out. And then you need to have some sort of nonverbal, like, you know, like if the third baseman isn't fully paying attention, say like when the pitch gets thrown back, you know, he turns his back to the infield, get back to his position, he's not fully paying attention, you want his attention, you got to be able to communicate with him, make sure they're all on the same page, making sure they got their eyes on you, like, hey, I touch here, or I take my helmet off, do one of these, you know, I'm going to back pick it. Okay, you got to make sure that you're at the base in a good position. Another thing, you know, like, just came to my mind was, you know, if a guy on second might try baiting you, don't be too lazy and too sure of yourself. Say the runner is trying to bait you. Okay, they get a strong, aggressive secondary lead. They're about halfway, man. Right? You see that? You need to be the one, after you receive that ball, you got to sprint right at him. Okay, make the runner make a decision. Okay, if you see him going back, you throw it really quick to second base. If not, it freeze. Now you got a rundown situation. Okay. Yeah, too many times you see them just try to be lazy, throw it down, thinking they're going to get the out because they're just automatically going to go back, and they take off and they take third. You know, that in base running is what we call the limbo. Okay, so if the catcher decides to be lazy on us, we take off, we take the extra base. We get a free stolen base out of it. Don't even need a slide, we don't need to get dirty. One of the easiest stolen bases you can get. So run at the runner and make him make a decision. Okay? But yeah, you gotta make sure that you're on the same page, you know, with your shortstop, with your first baseman, third baseman, you know, on potential play that you could put on, just a nonverbal. You need to be the one up against the fence. Fair or foul, when the play happens, you see it, you can tell them they got room, fence, okay, out. You gotta be the one communicating with your teammates. Also to prevent injury, man. Like, you don't want to see nobody go down with an injury. So you need to be the one to do that. Okay? Help out your teammates. Everybody's looking to you. Defense runs with a good catcher. A catcher that knows the game. Okay? And I mean, it's no fluke that a lot of MLB catchers, they become like some of your best MLB managers. They because they're smart, they know the entire game, they see the entire game. Those end up being some of your best managers. Okay? And there's a lot of guys, like, if you look back at it, you know, like MLB managers right now, you'll see, you know, a good percentage of them were catchers. Okay? If they didn't play catcher at the pro level, they played it somewhere in their life. Somewhere. And then cuts, you gotta be the one. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to line a play up to 4 if he's gonna automatically come in, right? It's a waste of throws, it's a waste of arms, and you may give up extra bases. You want to limit how many bases the other team can get So say it's a ball hitting the gap, guy on first. Hitting the gap, right center field gap, ball gets by him. Okay, and it rolls like to the fence. Okay, you already know basically, okay. I mean, if he's a slow guy, he's a slow guy. I mean, that's where it comes down to knowing your runners. But if he's fast, and he's going to come all the way around and score easy, there's no point in doing that. So say you're up like 10-7 or 12-7. I want to say 12-7 because you got a little bit of a cushion. You got to know the situation of your team in that moment too. Like, does it make sense to line a throw up to try to get the out at 4 or prevent an extra base? At that point, you need to trade that run to hold them there, get the next guy, or potentially get them there. Right? Let's say they're able to cut it off, but it's still a fast guy that can score. You may have a play there, you may not. I mean, it all depends. You got to know that situation. You need to call that out. Okay? Know where to line up on those cuts. So that's why I say, go back through the outfield videos. Okay? You should be going over everything in there that you need to know to be able to cut the ball. Okay? So next one, okay, I've seen this too often where catchers get lazy, ground balls. I mean, we get too much faith in our shortstop, third baseman, second baseman on our throwdowns. I mean, errors do happen. They do get by the first baseman. You need to be hustling down the base. You need to prevent that ball from going in the dugout, giving up a free base. Also, you need to know that typically your first baseman doesn't have the strongest arm on your team. Most situations. And if that ball gets by, he's typically not your fastest guy either. He's typically your bigger guy, smashes the ball. You get the picture. So if that ball leaks away, then he's got to go run after it. Then he's got to try firing a good throw. It's just not the most doable situation. And then, I mean, the ball could be sailed, the ball could be thrown low. I'm going to take my hat off so I can talk a little bit and you can see my face a little bit. I know it just got really dark. The sun kind of went down on me. I got the worst lighting in my house, so I apologize if this video's dark and you're looking at it like, man, this guy he's not professional, he don't got enough light. It's just my house, man. Like, it sucks. But anyway, you need to get down there to prevent that. You getting down there, you got a stronger arm, you got your momentum, you're already there in position to either hold them there at first or make a strong throw to second base and potentially getting out. Okay. Fly balls, like I said, you need to be one for a first baseman, third baseman. Sometimes your pitcher, he's athletic, he thinks he can go after it and make that play. You need to be communicating if they got room or if the fence is coming up. You want to prevent that injury. Okay, and then potentially getting out, especially free out. It wasn't even put in play. You don't want those small little errors occurring. So pop-up techniques. So, like I said, the starter pack, we went over all the mechanics and the fundamentals. Now we can talk about the pop-up technique, which I'm going to show a video. Miguel Montero, an ex-major leaguer, and he gives the great, very good advice on what you should be doing, especially with the mask. I mean, that's your key, and then turning back to the infield, letting it come to you. And I'm going to let him explain that. And then pitch calling, super important. Okay, you need to know what the hitter's doing against that pitcher. I mean, you could have a guy throwing 90 and he's late on everything, or if they're early, because you got a guy, okay, so say he's throwing 90. Let's not jump ahead. Say he's throwing 90 miles per hour. but you see that he's cheating. Try hitting that fastball because he's late. You can read his body motion, you can read where he's fouling off pitches, you can read, if he's got his weight back, where he's standing in the box. That's going to dictate how you call the pitch. Okay, coaches don't want to call pitches. We don't. I mean, I could give you the right pitch every single time. I mean, I can guarantee you, and if the pitcher executes it, I will guarantee that it'll work. But we don't want that to happen, because we don't want you looking over. We don't want potential of them trying to read our signs, figure out, okay, so he did all this, that means off speed's coming. He did this, fastball's coming. Okay. The second somebody tips your signs, the game's virtually over. Like, especially if you don't catch it, because I mean I've done it to other teams too. And then you relay it to the hitter, and then the hitter knows exactly what pitch is coming. So we want you to be the smartest guy on the field and trust that you're going to make the correct call every single time. Alright? So if he's crowding the plate, he's looking for probably that outside pitch. He may not have confidence in that to be able to reach it. We may want to jam on the inside, but if you see that he's got quick hands and he's taking away the inside, work him away. If he's just trying to pull the ball, then you got off speed. If he's getting up on the front leg, you throw off speed. If he's got his weight back, you throw fastball in. Okay, you can read it based off his foul balls. Okay, based off his results on how to throw each hitter. Okay, and it doesn't matter how good the hitter is. The hitter could be one of the best hitters in the state. So I live in Ohio. He could be the best hitter in the state of Ohio, but I can still get him out if I'm smarter and I call the right pitches. Right? I remember a time, I didn't get drafted. But I faced a dude that did. He got drafted in the 8th round by the Cleveland Indians. And it was pretty sweet facing him. And, I say it's sweet facing him, like, I never got a shot like him. But, I wanted to face those guys. And every time he came up to the plate, I just had this mentality like, he's mine. He's going to be mine. And I got him out. I made him go 0 for 3 with a strikeout and a walk. And, it was just an awesome moment, but it just showed, like, with the right pitch calling, whether it comes from the pitcher or the catcher, to get the guys out. Okay? And he was an awesome hitter, a state champion. Actually, maybe a 2-time state champion, if I remember right. In his 4 years of high school, and got drafted right out of high school. It was pretty cool getting him out, but it was the right pitch calling that was able to get him out. Okay? And then the last thing, so I mean, like, your pitch calling, it's all going to be dictated, how he's striding. Whether he's open, whether he's trying to cheat. I mean, you can easily call your pitches dictated on what the hitter's doing. Okay, where he's lined up in the box. Where does he have his hands? Is he late getting his hands back, or his hands coming down? That means he's going to be late. We can get the fastball in. Okay. There's so much that goes into it. Definitely pay attention to your coaches on every single situation where you do it. If not, you got a good knack for the game, you know exactly what to call, then do it. Okay? You're going to make the pitcher so happy. So happy. Because you make the job so easy for him. Okay? Last thing, be a wall. Okay? I don't care if it's warm-up pitches. Okay? Don't get lazy ever. Okay? Nothing gets by you. Nothing. Okay? Take that mentality. Because you're the field general. Anybody sees you getting lazy, your teammates, I mean, it could feed off on them. Be a wall, right? Because we don't want that guy coming in easy off play from third. Saw that all too much. Try a chance back pick, boom. The one summer I coached, pretty brutal. Pretty brutal to talk about, pretty brutal experience, you know, catcher that didn't want to block the ball, pitchers that struggled to throw strikes, spiking balls, you know, walk guy on 4 pitches, pass ball, pass ball, pass ball, scores. I mean, it happened almost every game. I mean, it was a bad experience, and it was super hard to coach those guys, but I never gave up on them. Because, I mean, they're great kids, great families. Great kids, great families. I couldn't say that enough about that group. Did have some talent, but they were, before coming to me, I mean, I didn't have enough time to get them where I needed to. And that's what stunk about that situation. But you don't want to give up those free ones, so be that wall. Okay, don't change that back pick. Just block it. Okay, so now I'm going to go into showing the videos. Let's do the fly balls, and then I'm just going to let them talk. Okay, I'm not going to pause it or nothing. You watch, you learn. These videos are going to be up in the members area for you to go back and learn. Before we do, let's see the field diagram, how you see the entire field. And then we'll go right into those videos. And then the second one is the breakdown on the position. Okay? I'm just going to let those videos play through. So, look, you're the only one facing the field. So that means your vision is on the entire field. You see pitcher, first base, second base, shortstop, third base, left field, center field, right field. You see where the ball's hit. You see the results of the hitter. Okay, you see all foul territory. Okay, so let's just go through now on those videos. Okay, we're going to go through those videos, and you're just going to sit and pay attention to them. If it's hard to hear, then watch them on your own, off your own audio. Okay. This is the breakdown of the position. We're going to do fly balls first.
Hi, I'm Untitled Chapter, and today we're going to teach you guys how to catch a fly ball. Today for a catchers is a tough position because, you know, we got the mask, we got a heavy glove, and we're in a squat position. So the first thing you guys got to do when you guys see a pop-up is take your mask off, right? So you guys in your position, so the pop-up just came out. So you take your mask off, keep it in your hand, indicate the ball, you look the ball, see the ball. Now you throw the mask away from you because you know that catch you, it can get you a little bit in trouble. You probably can trip on it or step on the mask. So that's what I recommend you guys to throw the mask as far as you can. The other thing you guys got to do is as soon as you guys ubicate the ball, just keep the ball in front of you. Because if you guys get behind the ball got different spin and the ball's going to go toward the field. So, and my recommendation for all you guys is as soon as you guys see the ball, get behind the ball, keep your ball a little bit in front of you. I would recommend keep the ball in front of your nose, pretty much in front of your nose. So you guys ubicate it, you guys get in an athlete position, behind the ball. Don't forget, always use 2 hands to catch a fly ball, alright? You see the ball, ubicate the ball, and catch the ball. So once you've done that, you just catch it properly, the proper way to catch a pop-up to the catchers. It seems a little bit easier, it's not as easier, but I hope you guys like it. This is Miguel Montero, and thanks for having me.
So like he said, the first thing that you do is you take the mask off. Okay, you take that mask off, you hold on to it. Once you read where it's going, you get to that spot, still with your mask in your hand. And once you get close, you chuck it as far as you can. Okay, this is going to prevent you from stepping on it and potentially falling and ruining you from catching that fly ball. Okay, so let's watch the breakdown video. They're just breaking down the entire position.
Extra innings, man on second base, and then all of a sudden, Miles Straw scores on a pass ball. Wild pitch, sorry.
Like I said, be real, don't be lazy.
What did you see? Yes, I definitely have some thoughts on this. What did you see when you watched it? What was your initial feeling?
Well,
So also notice right there, I know he scored, but notice that he slid after that ball. What you can do is, you slide, you pop up if you're in a good position to toss it, okay? Or in his case, do or die, he was just sliding and tried to do it all at once. But I mean, you can add in the pop up. It helps. Okay, it helps give a good feed.
To a bunch of catchers, I just think for me, they're just, and I know you're going to go into this, they just look unathletic and locked. It's like, I don't know how they're going to be able to get out from that stance. And my thing is, if you're not going to do it with a man on third in Game 7 of the World Series, then why are you going to do it any time else? Do it the right way for $1.62. But obviously, there's a reason behind it.
Let me start off with this fact. Pass balls, wild pitches are at an all-time high in the modern era. So when I saw that, it just kind of started creating it in my mind whenever I'm watching a game.
Some buffering. Let's see if we can get that up.
Wild pitches are at an all-time high in the modern era. So when I saw that, it just kind of started creating it in my mind whenever I'm watching a game.
And buffering. Let's see if I move a little bit past it. Okay, so we'll move on without this video. What they're talking about the entire video, they're virtually just breaking down the position. Okay, blocking, so we can actually view some plays. Communication, they're talking about positioning on throw-ins, and that's another thing. So position on throw-ins, so it's kind of set yourself up in front of home. So let's go to that really quick. So the diagram once again, you want to be positioned up here, because now it's interference if you block home plate, block the guy from scoring, just get the injuries down and all that, plus to prevent the catcher from getting ran over. So we want to be up here, and then as the throw is coming in, so if you have that lean, so as I showed in the infield video on how to get the positioning on a steal to be able to swipe it, kind of lean on that front leg, and then you transfer it in to the momentum there with the throw. Okay, and then you go down and swipe. Okay, so go back to the infield video and how to do that. So virtually what they were talking about in the video was how catchers just seem to be a little bit lazier and nonchalant now. Going down blocking balls, being unathletic. And this is some of like the younger catchers that they're talking about that are coming up in the league. Don't ever take this position for granted, ever. Get after it. Be fearless. Be gritty. You are the most important man on this field. Don't let the game end because of your laziness. Okay? Carry the game on because you're being the wall. You're the one that everybody is looking to make that play. Okay? Be the smartest guy out there. Know every single situation. So, just to recap, this video is a little bit shorter because it's all coming down to you going back and reviewing. Okay? Knowing the situations, being the ultimate communicator at all costs. Okay? I've seen teams where the catcher was not the ultimate communicator and the team just never rolled. The team with a catcher that communicates and gets after it, you typically see that team going on and having great success. Okay, because they know all the aspects of the game, what each position should be doing, all the situations that could occur in front of them, and analyzing it in the game and making the correct call. Okay? And the pitch calling is so super important. It comes down to that and knowing everything that's in front of you. So definitely pay attention to your coaches. Go back and review some of the stuff that I went over. Okay? Because I'm trying to give you a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. But you're going to do a lot of your learning, actually at practice. So, I mean, this is just added on work for you to do in the meantime while you're not at practice. Okay, does that make sense? So, stay tuned, guys. I got more stuff coming. Next 5 days, get your studying done, get your homework done. No cards. Get them done. Get them in your back pocket. Get them laminated. Okay? And go from there. And I really hope this is helping each and every one of you guys out. I know it works. I just hope I am just 100% delivering the best that I can for you to be able to understand it and get better at this game. It's all about the baseball IQ. Good baseball IQ won't stop you. Won't stop you from being successful at this game at all.